Hey guys, this is Alex from sim-plates.com, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to replace the sky, how to rotate the sky, how to do some color grading stuff with sim plates. This is some advanced workflow stuff. This isn't really open to everyone yet. If you want to try this out, just send me a message at alex@sim-plates.com. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just jump in. So like many things, there's more than one way to do this. I'm going to show you the somewhat manual way to do it, which is the way I still prefer to do it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, in Live Effects, so I have Live Effects selected here. I am going to import clips. I am going to go to my desert layers. So let's do desert sunset layer, and I'm going to add this one. I'm going to add this to my timeline here. And then I'm going to add the HDRIs that I provided to download. Regular HDRIs will not work, so if you have a specific HDRI you want to use, just let me know and we can talk about how to make them work. So I think what I'll do here is, I think I'm just going to make a new timeline, call this HDRIs, import. I'm going to select the HDRI folder and select folder here, and I'm going to make an entire timeline of HDRIs. This just lets me visually see what my HDRIs are, what my options are here, and so sometimes this is easier just to visually see them here. You don't need to do it that way, but sometimes I do it that way to organize it. You can also just select a specific one that you want. So you can also get a thumbnail here at the bottom left. So I'm going to go ahead and just select a few sunset ones, and I'll drag them on top of this clip here. So I'm going to select this one, and let's see, maybe one more, this one here. So 3 different style of skies. Might do another one just for fun. And then I'm going to click and drag on this and then drop it down here where this resolution is. And what that's going to do is going to make sure that the resolution of this 360 video and the timeline are the exact same before I create a filler. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to filler, create black, and drop it below these versions here. And then I'm going to go ahead and rename this now because I often don't. So desert sunset, we'll call this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and enter into this black frame. And on the right side here, we have versions. You can press W to close and open this tray here. So if I click and drag and drop this in here, it's going to drop that layer right inside. And then I can go ahead and grab my HDRIs and drag these behind. For right now, I'll just go ahead and drag them all in for now, which is fine. Just going to drag them all in here so that we have them here. And then if you want to, you can delete all these. It doesn't really matter. So you'll obviously notice that something doesn't look right on the screen. And actually, before I even move forward, I might need to change my screen to be standard dynamic range anyway, because I don't think this screen recording is going to work with HDR. So I'll show you how to do that anyway, because you might be interested. System settings, advanced, HDR, turn off the dynamic range for UI, and then restart it. Okay, under settings, monitors, I do have my interface to be Rec 709 Gamma 24, which is good. And then the other thing I need to do here is go to media and change this to be Rec 2020 PQ. So that's HDR, and the content is all HDR. And now because I have settings, monitors, interface set to 709 Gamma 24, it will automatically do that transform from HDR to SDR for this monitor and hopefully for this screen recording. I can't actually see that, so I don't know for sure that it's working, but either way, it doesn't really matter for the tutorial purposes. It doesn't really matter if this is all blown out or not. All right, so now I might rename this just so I know what is going on. So I'm going to rename this to be just HDRI Sky, and then yeah, I'll just go through and rename these here, so we can we can stay somewhat organized. Let's see. And last one. So now we can see we have our desert layer here and our different HDRIs up here. So now let's see. So we can, if I play this, you can see it plays back. You probably by default, this would only be set to 23. So go to the live effects menu and you need to set this number to be the same number as frames that you have here. So in this case, it's 1440. I have mine assimilate set up so that it starts on 1, and I'll just show you how to do that. So count from 1. So you go to System Settings, Advanced, and then turn on this number, count from 1. And what that will do is the first frame will be frame 1 instead of being frame 0. And then you can use normal numbers for stuff. So do that, and then shot length will be 1 to 1440. So once you have that set up, it should loop seamlessly. Yeah, it looks loop seamlessly. That's fine. That's good. So now what we want to do is we want to, there's a few different things we could do at this point. We can rotate the HDRIs so that they actually make sense for the sky, because you can see in this example, the sun is coming from over here somewhere, but right now in this HDRI, the sun is here. So to do that, there's different ways you can do it, but the way that I recommend is go into the node tree over here and click on the sky that you want to affect. So you can see we have it right here, it's selected here. If we click down into the node tree, we'll see the HDRI here. And this is where I recommend you rotating it. So you go down to framing and you can rotate it here by changing the yaw. If you want to see a preview of what it looks like with our comp, click on the top one and then click on this little icon here. So with this top node selected, click on the lock icon, then go down into your node tree and then rotate it. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, well, it would help if I had that one in front. So this is the one that we are working on right now. So down in the node tree framing, this is where we can rotate it. So now we can rotate it, and then you can decide if you want to change the color either down here in this node or in the layer here. I typically like to have it in the layer. That way I can see everything from a glance. It's a little bit easier. So this is a part where, you know, this is all a creative judgment at this point. But let's say you wanted this sky to be a little bit more pink. You can hold down, you can go to, first of all, you gotta have it selected, and then you can hold down K, J, K, and L. J will do lift, K will do gamma, L will do gain. It's the same thing as just grabbing and dragging, but I'm gonna hold down K and then drag a little bit pink. So kind of get that pink sky, and I could do the same for the desert if I wanted to. So if I wanted to make it more Barbie, I could do the same thing here, or I could come down, make it a little bit more blue. So this is obviously a very creative choice at this point, but this is where you would do that. I would typically do it from the sky, from the node tree, under here in the layers. So once you're happy with whatever your composite is, and you can do this again, you can have multiple versions here. So I can change the sky, I can go into this one and repeat that whole thing. If you don't see yaw pitch roll here, when you click on this bottom one, you may need to go to metadata and then scroll down to where it says projection type and change this to rectangular 360, because if it's normal, you won't get a yaw. So this does have to be set to 360. Okay, so for now, that's gonna be good enough for me. So the next step is to get this working on the stage. So I'm going to go to projection setup. I'm going to drag this composite that we just made into our setup here. This is assuming you already have a stage set up and everything. You're going to change the media type to 360, spherical projection. If you have camera tracker, you can enter that here and then press create. And so now we have the composite and everything is looking good. If we go into Stage Manager, you can see everything working as expected. So now if you want to continue to change any of those things or tweak any of those things, you go into the node tree, and we have the same thing that we have set up before. It's just now inside of the node tree. So in this case, I have a ceiling and I have a wall. So you might, that may, depending on your workflow, your node tree is going to look different. But let's see, this is the sky. So if we wanted to change the framing on this sky, we would just go into the bottom node here, and we would rotate it as needed. And we could go into, let's go back up one, and with this selected, I can change the color here. I can make it brighter. I can make it more pink. You know, do whatever you need to do here. And then also here you could keep changing out the skies. If you wanted to add another one, you can do that all inside of the node tree here. So that's the key, is you have to do a lot of this stuff inside of the node tree. So it can get a little complicated, especially if you've never used the node tree before, or if you've never used this sort of compositing workflow before, but it's actually quite easy. And you can see we're playing back, this is now two, well, let's see. We're actually playing back, 2, and at this point 3 streams of 12K video, and it's playing back in real time. And this is all off an external drive right now. This is a very fast external drive, but it's all coming from an external drive at this moment. So I'm gonna delete this one. I don't like that one. So hopefully this is helpful. There's a lot more things we can do with the live compositing. We can actually provide layers and stuff. I want to show you one more example real quick. So I'm going to import the desert night layers, and this one has 2 different layers. And I'm going to bring in an HDRI. I'm going to do a night one. Let's just do this one. Do the same thing, filler, black. I'm going to call this desert night. I'm going to enter. I'm going to change this to be Rec 2020 PQ. Go to versions. I'm going to drag these in. And the night one, this particular one, is a little tricky because I'm actually doing it day for night, and I'm also adding the headlights on. So I'm going to just change this to add. We're going to call this headlights. Nope, wrong one. This is the HDRI. So I'm just going to call this HDR. And I'm going to do headlights. And I'm going to do desert. So up here I switched from layers to fill, and I changed this to add. That adds the lights. You can also do screen. It kind of depends on what you want to do. So we have our lights here as their own layer. I have our desert and our night. Obviously right now it does not look very much like night. So I rendered this out specifically to do day for night. So I'm going to switch into my primaries tab here. And in fact, I think I'll start with the sky. I'm going to turn everything else off. And I want this sky to be darker. I want it to be more blue. And then I'm going to try to match the environment closer. So something like that. Something like that looks okay. I'm going to turn on my desert layer here. I'm going to make it darker. I'm going to go more blue. I'm going to take out a little bit of that pink. The rocks are pink, so it's a little bit tricky to go, to look at what you're looking at. I like to look at something if you have something that's just white and judge it off of that, that's helpful. So I might go a little bit darker. So I might go super dark here. And then turn on my headlights. And now we have our night scene. And then in the same way, we can do the same with the headlights. So we can change the color of the headlights if we want. And you'll notice the headlights are actually affecting our environment. So if I change the color of this, it's affecting just what the headlights are affecting, not anything else around it. So we can actually do this sort of control live at the stage. I'm going to reset that though. I don't like the mustard. We go a little bit orange, but nothing too crazy. And then we can change again. We can sort of change to a different HDRI. Let's use this one. And let's bring it down a little bit. Let's go a little bit super saturated in this one. In fact, I think I will desaturate the blues. So curves, hue saturation, pick, and then just choose your blue and just desaturate just the blues. So I have this saturation in the oranges and not so much in the blues. That's kind of and this is sort of the adjustment. It's probably very subtle, and it's probably hard to see on the screen recording, but anyway, this is all a creative choice anyway. So that is sort of the basics of using the layers and compositing sim plates live in Live Effects. And we can do at least 3 layers of 12K on you do have to have a fast hard drive. So at least 2500 read-write speed, and ideally faster than that. My main server, my Silverdraft server, is 10,000 read-write speed. It's rated NVMe internal. That's probably overkill for most people, but I do like 16K stuff, and so sometimes I actually do need that disk I/O speed. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. If you want to test out these layers, just send me an email, contact us on the website, and yeah, see you guys in the next video.